Grab a brew and tune in to the High Ticket Review. In each episode, you'll get a rewind of the misses, makes, and definitely magic of live high-ticket sales calls from a veteran sales consultant, Will DeShazo, who has held more than 15,000 calls and trained multiple 8-figure companies, all while developing a simple, winning framework to close your next call. From objection handling,
I'm gonna need to sleep on this,
to on-call close techniques, the High Ticket Review has you covered up in talk tracks that convert to dollars. Now, on to today's training.
Okay, a lot of you listening to this show might be business to business. I think this episode really pertains to business coaches and consultants. I do think there's a place for a more emotional B2C offer in this, right? But this definitely applies 120% if you are business to business. You see, I want you to know this. Your prospects do not buy a change in their process, okay? They buy a solution to their problem. So if you come onto your discovery call and you learn all about their process explicitly, not the pains or the problems or the opportunity cost missed because of that process, but just the process itself, if you only uncover their current process and you present what you believe is a better process, more than likely you're going to get ghosted and they're not going to buy from you. You see, you can have a strong opener, you can set an agenda, you can get good buy-in, you can have a really great pitch, you can have tiebacks. But in your discovery, if you don't dive into your prospect's problem and you only stay logistical and dive into their process, you're going to find yourself selling a process, not a solution. Okay? So for instance, if you sold a payment processor, I'm just using this as an example, and you asked about processes, right? Their current processes. This makes sense. How do you currently solve invoicing? How do you solve invoicing? How do you invoice your customers, right? Or what system are you using today? Or are you using ACH? Are you using credit cards? Do you have funding options? You're talking about their process, which is fine, but the timing might be a little bit off on that. See, the prospect will then begin describing their process. And that's where you can really fall flat on your face and end up losing your deal. You need to begin restructuring your discovery questions around their problem. So if your discovery is more about, they say, we send their invoices via email. If your question was, how do you currently invoice your customers? And they say, well, we send invoices over email. Well, that's a process. You can ask that, but you don't need to stop there. You don't want to miss the problem that's behind the process. So in response to that, hey, you mentioned you send invoices via email. How's that working? Get some more information. What do you like about that? What don't you like about that? Ooh, you said that's a problem. How do you know that's a problem? You said it's a mess. Can you tell me more about the mess? How do you mean that it's a mess? What's a mess particularly? See, you want to open up the womb, open up the problem, right? That shows you the pain behind the current process, right? Well, the main issue is we send these invoices manually and they never expire, and then people just ghost us and we don't end up closing a deal. Oh, that we can dig a little more into. You see, no one is going to buy, if you're a payment processor or you sell some sort of B2B service around that, I'm just using this as an example, but no one is going to buy a new offer that sends invoices manually, are they? Well, no, not at all. That doesn't close the deal. But if somebody said, hey, we wait 45, 50, 60 days to get paid, it's killing our cash flow. Would somebody buy that? Probably so. Probably so. This now is a solution to your cash flow problems via the process of a better payment processor. You see? What is the problem that your process, your flow fixes? That's what you need to be describing on your calls. So quit describing the new process and begin solving the problem that your process solves. Okay? Pretty simple, pretty easy. Here we are, less than 5 minutes. Go use this on this episode. Close more high-ticket discovery calls. We'll see you next time.
All right, you just listened to the High Ticket Review. And by the way, this podcast is completely supported by you, a high ticket closer, business owner, or salesperson. So make sure to smash that subscribe button to close higher dollar deals faster. And don't forget, go implement what you heard today. Opportunity is right around the bend on the other end of every single call that you take. See you next time.